My life between the angels and the virtuous women. Since the beginning of humanity's journey upon this earth, mankind has sought reassurance to soften the harshness of life and mercy to restore the balance of the heart whenever it becomes burdened by worldly concerns. Human beings are not merely bodies sustained by food and water. They are souls that need light and tranquility, just as the body needs air. Therefore, God did not leave his servants alone in this world filled with trials and temptations, but surrounded them with a realm of mercy and care, manifested in the angels who protect, inspire, and seek forgiveness, as well as in the virtuous women whose hearts were created with tenderness, compassion, and affection. When I contemplate life around me, I find that its greatest beauty lies neither in wealth, nor status, nor worldly adornments, but in those pure feelings that connect human beings to heaven and to pure hearts. The angels make the believer feel under the protection of God, while the virtuous women remind him that mercy is still alive on earth. Between these two worlds, the life of a believer is formed, living between divine gentleness and human compassion, between heavenly protection and the serenity God grants through faithful hearts. Speaking about angels is not speaking of fantasy or myth, but about an unseen world revealed by God in the Holy Quran and made an essential part of faith. Angels are beings of light who never disobey God and carry great duties in existence and life. Among them are those who deliver revelation, those who record human deeds, those who guard mankind by God's command, and those who seek forgiveness and guidance for believers. At times, a person may feel that an unseen force surrounds and protects him from destruction or ruin. How many people have escaped accidents, disasters, or temptations only to stand in amazement at God's mercy and care? Here, the role of the angels becomes evident, for they are soldiers of the Most Merciful, carrying out his command in this vast universe. God Almighty says, "And indeed there are guardians over you, noble recorders." When a believer realizes this truth, he feels that he is not alone in this world, but rather living under the continuous care of God. The role of angels is not limited to protection alone. They also descend with tranquility upon believing hearts. Thus, a person may feel an extraordinary peace amidst hardship, as though serenity had descended upon him from heaven. Sometimes life narrows around a person until he nearly collapses. Then suddenly, an inner calm restores his balance, as though a hidden mercy had touched his heart. These are the breezes of mercy that God casts into the hearts of his servants, restoring hope after despair and light after darkness. Yet, despite humanity's need for divine care, people still require mercy lived and experienced on earth through righteous individuals, foremost among them virtuous women, in whose hearts God placed tenderness that no man can truly create, regardless of his strength. A virtuous woman is not merely a partner in life, she is a source of serenity, stability, and spiritual warmth. A human being first learns mercy from his mother, for she is the first school of love, sacrifice, and giving. A mother grants not only food and clothing, but also safety, belonging, and tenderness. How many people endured the hardships of life because they were raised in the embrace of a righteous mother who planted faith and compassion within them? This is why Islam made honoring one's mother among the greatest acts of devotion, for after God, she is the reason behind the emotional, spiritual, and moral formation of the human being. Then comes the righteous wife, who turns the home into a place of tranquility rather than conflict. Marriage, in its truest meaning, is not merely a material or social relationship. It is a covenant of mercy, affection, and peace. When a woman is faithful and kind-hearted, her presence in a man's life becomes a tremendous blessing that helps him face the hardships of life. She shares his sorrow before his joy, stands beside him in weakness before strength, and softens the cruelty of days with a kind word or a compassionate glance. God Almighty says, "And among his signs is that he created for you spouses from among yourselves, that you may find tranquility in them, and he placed between you affection and mercy." Quran 30:21. The serenity a person finds in a virtuous woman is not something incidental. It is one of God's signs in this universe, for the human soul cannot live without love, mercy, and emotional shelter. When we examine societies, we often find that their righteousness begins with righteous women, for they raise generations and shape values within homes. A righteous mother raises righteous men, a wise wife preserves the family from collapse, and a chaste woman spreads purity and modesty throughout society. Therefore, moral decay in any nation often begins when noble values are marginalized and replaced by materialism, desires, and superficial appearances. Today, the world has become more advanced materially, yet more cruel and spiritually disturbed. Many possess wealth, technology, and comfort, but lack serenity and peace of mind. The reason is that modern civilization focused on building the body while neglecting the soul, leaving humanity spiritually empty despite material abundance. Herein lies the importance of belief in angels and the presence of virtuous women in human life, for together they restore the balance lost amid the chaos of materialism. Angels remind humanity that there exists a world greater than the material one, and that life is not confined to what the eyes can see. Virtuous women remind people that mercy still exists on earth, and that pure hearts are still capable of creating beauty amidst widespread ugliness. How many men have their lives transformed by a righteous woman who guided them back to God, gave them hope after despair, or stood beside them when everyone else abandoned them? And how many mothers, through their sacrifice, raised great men who changed the course of history? Woman is not a marginal being in life, as some attempt to portray her, but rather a partner in building humanity, civilization, and morality. Conversely, the absence of virtuous women from a person's life makes life harsher and lonelier, just as the absence of faith leaves the heart empty and restless. Human beings always need someone who plants mercy within their hearts, restores hope and confidence, and makes them feel loved, understood, and accepted. My Life Between the Angels and the Virtuous Women is not merely a literary title, but an expression of a profound human and spiritual reality. A believer lives constantly between two mercies: the mercy of heaven manifested through angels, and the mercy of earth manifested through kind hearts. When these two mercies unite, a person feels capable of facing life no matter how difficult it becomes. Reflecting upon life's experiences, I find that the brightest moments were not those filled with material wealth, but those filled with mercy, faith, and sincerity. A kind word may save a person from a collapse. The sincere smile of a woman may restore hope to an exhausted heart, and the prayer of a devoted mother may open the doors of mercy and success. No matter how strong or knowledgeable a human being becomes, he remains in need of mercy, for the soul cannot survive on strength alone. Therefore, among the greatest blessings God grants his servants is tranquility. This tranquility comes neither from wealth nor fame, but from closeness to God and the presence of sincere and virtuous hearts in one's life. In the end, true life is the life in which a person lives near to God, surrounded by mercy, far from cruelty, injustice, and selfishness. Angels constantly remind us of the greatness of heaven and the purity of obedience, while virtuous women remind us of the beauty of human compassion and the sincerity of genuine emotions. Between the two, humanity continues its journey upon the earth, searching for the light that rescues the heart from the darkness of worldly life
and the sincere love that gives meaning to existence.